under pressure, Shanghai, Beijing, and set population caps a tackle of big city diseases.
Understanding the demographic transition, how changing birth and death rates reshape societies and influence economic development.
Beijing relocates a government office outside the city, a bold move to ease and strain a capital resources and reduce concentration.
In Metro Manila, planners struggle to manage one of the world's densest urban centers.
A shift in the family dynamics worldwide as a family gets smaller, aging population drive up healthcare costs and impact a labor markets.
And looking ahead to 2100s, what an aging global population means for scientists and the economy, expert warn the time to prepare is now.
Good evening and welcome to our special report. Today we are diving into a deep topic of affecting cities and countries around the globe. Population, management, and concept demographic transition. As a urban city grows, managing resources and planning for an aging society become increasingly urgent challenges. I am Branding Josh R. Escalante.
I am Mike Russell Bruce. Tonight, we'll explore recent steps taken by cities like Shanghai and Beijing to control their population growth, as well as the global demographic transition reshaping societies. We'll hear from our reporters who have been investigating the policies, population, caps, and social services impact city life and influence the global economy. Let's begin in Shanghai, where population management has become a pressing issue. We turn now to Mr. Neil Justin Aguilar to learn more about the city's recent policies.
Thank you, Cruz. Shanghai is a bustling economic hub with a population of approximately 24.2 million has regularly implement a major policy change. The city plans to limit its permanent population to 25 million. By 2035, effectively capping the number of residents who can live here long term. This decision, according to Chinese authority, aims to combat what known as big city disease, a term used to describe the growing problems facing highly populated urban arena. This included service air pollution, massive traffic congestion, and overburn public service like healthcare and education. Shanghai's goal is to improve the quality of life its residents. The government believes by the capping population growth, they can manage resources better, reduce population, and improve public transportation and other infrastructure. City officials have also announced plan to increase green space and upgrade waste management system to enhance the urban environment. However, not everyone sees the cap as beneficial. Critics argue that it could hurt lower income residents. The most a research fellow at the Shanghai Academy of Social Science warned that this limit may result in the demolition of affordable housing. This could drive up housing price and leave many unable to afford home within the city. He's described the policy as unrealistic and against social development, suggesting the limiting population growth this way could disrupt the city's economic diversity and exacerbate inequality. This cap reflects a complex balance between maintaining livability and supporting the economic needs of large dynamic city. Back to you, Cruz.
Thank you. Managing population growth is not just about setting limit on city size. To help us understand the bigger picture of how population evolved, we turn to Mr. Ian Enriquez. He's breaking down the concept of demographic transition from a model that explains the shift in birth and death rates as society develops.
Thank you, Mike Cruz. The birth and mortality rates of a country can reveal much about its level of development, as these rates change systematically as societies evolve. The demographic transition model is a tool used to depict these changes, showing the transition of population through various phases of development, originating from the Greek terms for people and description graphically. The DTM visually represent birth rates, mortality rates, and total population size over time. In phase 1, typically of pre-industrial societies, both birth and death rates are high, leading us to slow population growth, limited healthcare, high child mortality, and a reliance on large families for support in old and keep birth rates evaluate. While no country currently exists in this phase, it once described many early societies. In phase 2, healthcare improves, vaccination access and better sanitation lower the mortality rate. However, birth rates remain high, leading to a rapid population increase. This phase is often seen in developing countries today, such as Angola and Chad, where health services improve but societal shifts in family size have yet to take place. In phase 3, the mortality rate is lower. The birth rates begin to decline due to greater access to contraceptives, increased education for women, and reduced need for large families. Countries like Indonesia and Mexico exemplify this phase where population growth continues but at a slower pace. In phase 4, both birth and death rates are low, leading to a stable population size. This phase describes many developed nations such as the Netherlands, where societal factors maintain low growth rates. Finally, phase 5 represents the most developed societies, where an aging population can lead to a natural decline in population size at death rates surpass birth rates. Germany is an example with higher proportion for elderly individuals, resulting in a decreasing population. This transition affects social structures, family planning, and economic priorities for countries like China, and slowing population growth brings new challenges, especially as they now face a rapidly aging population. Over the long term, these changes in population dynamic could impact global labor markets, international migration patterns, and social policies worldwide. The demographic transition model is crucial for comparing development across countries and predicting future demographic shifts. As countries progress through these stages, their social and economic needs evolve, informing policies that anticipated future challenges related to aging population, workforce sustainability, and resource distribution. Back to you, Escalante.
Thanks, Ian. China's response to demographic trends isn't limited to Shanghai. Beijing has implemented its own population control measures. Masayan is here, how to capital into a city adapter.
Thanks, Escalante. In Beijing, the government has set a population cap of 23 million, and they're even relocating government offices to a new city about 50 miles south to reduce the strain on resources in the capital. Officials are hopeful that this policy will lower traffic congestion, reduce housing demand, and create more sustainable urban environment for the future. China is facing a demographic shift toward an older population and is preparing for a society where the working age population may not be able to support the number of elderly residents in coming decades. This gap also speaks to a need for balance. Beijing must continue to attract talent and maintain economic vibrancy, while also making life sustainable for all its. But as in Shanghai, this policy has drawn criticism. Some residents worry about displacement and the rising cost of living. Lower income workers especially feel the burden as affordable housing options become scarce. The government approach to urban planning highlights the complex relationship between population size, economic growth, and quality of life. Back to you, Cruz.
Thank you, Kenneth Masayon. These issues are important not just for China, but for countries around the world. As cities grow, similar questions arise. How sustainability? What policies help an aging population? Mr. Bisnan is here to discuss what these global trends means for the Philippines.
Thank you, Cruz. In the Philippines, population management is already growing concern. Metro Manila, for instance, is one of the world's most dense populated urban areas, and our birth rates, while declining, remains relatively high compared to other nations. We are currently in a transition phase, meaning our population is still growing, but is also aging gradually. This phase offers both opportunities and challenges. While a strict population cap might not work here, experts say we could benefits from target urban planning. Many urban planners recommend focusing on affordable housing, efficient public transportation, and green spaces to make the city more livable and sustainable. We also need to address inequality, ensuring that the economic development benefits all sectors of society, including low-income families. In the future, demographic trends will likely shift here as well. With declining birth rates and a gradually aging population, the Philippines has a unique opportunity to invest in our youth now to prepare for the long-term challenges ahead. Sustainable planning today can help us avoid the severe congestion and big city disease seen in some of the world's largest cities. Back to you, Escalante.
Great insight, Mr. Bislan. Let's now consider how demographic transition influence the family dynamics and economics planning on a larger scale. Makaya is here and root of how changes in family sizes are affecting the economy.
Thank you, Mr. Escalante. As birth rates decline and families grow smaller, this shift is altering both family dynamics and broader economic structures. With fewer children, parents often have more resources to invest in each child's education and overall well-being, leading to a higher quality over quantity approach. At the same time, an aging population brings economic challenges. Countries with older population face higher healthcare costs as social security demands and a reduced labor force. Many developed countries like Germany and Canada are addressing these, encouraging immigrations to boost the workforce and balance their demographics. As countries manage this demographic shift, we're seeing changes in retirement plans, health care funding, and even in workplace policies. To accommodate an older workforce, these shifts emphasize the importance of proactive policies that support a balanced, sustainable economy, no matter the population structure. Back to you, Mr. Cruz.
Fascinating insight. Thank you, Mr. Edison Makayan. Looking ahead, demographic projections give us glimpse of what world might look like by 2100s. Mr. Bautista has been studying this projection. What can you tell?
Thank you, Cruz. By the end of the century, global population growth is expected to slow, stabilizing around 9.5 billion people. However, population in many developing countries may actually decline. Experts predict a significant shift in age demographic. There could be up to 16 times more elderly people compared to 1800, while the number of children continue to drop. This aging population trend will likely demand a new approach to healthcare, urban planning, and workforce management. Urban centers will need to adapt with greater investment in accessibility, medical facilities, and housing that accommodates elderly residents. Nations that start planning for these things now will be better equipped to manage this transition and support both young and old citizens alike. The demographic transition we're seeing today will redefine what cities and countries look like, highlighting the importance of forward-thinking sustainable policies. Back to you, Escalante.
A powerful outlook indeed. Thank you, Bautista, and all to our reporters for helping us to understand the critical global changes as a population grows, slows, and urban areas adapt. This insight provide a guide for sustainable city planning and social policies.
Thank you our viewers for joining us. This has been a special report on global demographics, population management, and the future of urban life. Again, I am Mike Russell Cruz, and thank you.
And I am Branding Josh R. Escalante. Good night and stay informed.